Hello, everyone, and thanks for joining News in Hypnosis. I'm your host, Isla Brock. I'm also a certified hypnotherapist, and today's topic is going to be procrastination. It's part one of two. But first, as is my thing, I do a but first segment. I found this little ditty years and years and years ago, and I discovered at least one similar to it. It called the Procrastinator's Creed. I'm just going to read these quick elements, the Procrastinator's Creed. And before
I show your cup.
Oh, I'll get to my cup.
Oh.
Okay. Do I continue or start over?
Start from the beginning.
All right.
I thought you
I'll get to my cup. Yeah, I did. I should have done it first.
That's okay.
But I didn't do an order of service. All right, I'll do my cup and then the creed. Okay.
Here we go. In 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Welcome, everyone. This is News in Hypnosis, and I'm your host, Isla Brock. I'm also a certified hypnotherapist in Central Valley of California. Central Valley Hypnotherapy. Very convenient, right? I'm in Visalia is the name of the actual city I live in. Today's topic, it's going to be on procrastination. Today, it's one of two parts. Before I start on that, though, I'm going to share my cup. If at first you don't succeed, try again. Happy Mother's Day. Love, your third born child. Well, she was my last born child, so the other two before them. These guys come up with the craziest little cups because I collect coffee cups. It's funny because one year they all gave me the same cup, from your favorite child, and they all had the identical gifts. It's galore. It's too funny. Anyway, and I also want to go over, now that my cup story is over for today, I want to talk about just real quick the Procrastinator's Creed. It's just something I found years and years ago, and I thought it was kind of light and amusing, and probably partially true for many. And also understand, just because someone's a procrastinator doesn't mean they're slow like a turtle. The picture that when I found this has a turtle. A lot of procrastinators aren't turtles. A lot of procrastinators are just the opposite. So they're just, your speed at which you work is not procrastination. Okay, so the first one is, I believe that if anything is worth doing, it would have been done already. Duh, right? I shall never move quickly except to avoid more work or find excuses. Kind of have don't move too quickly. You might get the job done. I will never rush into a job without lifetime of consideration. I shall meet all of my deadlines directly in proportion to the amount of bodily injury I could expect to receive from missing them. Oh! I firmly believe that tomorrow holds the possibilities for new technologies, astounding discoveries, and a reprieve from my obligations. I truly believe that all deadlines are unreasonable, regardless of the amount of time given. That's a big one, right? I shall never forget that the probability of a miracle, though infinitesimally small, is not exact zero. If at first I don't succeed, there's always next year. How many of us make resolutions and don't stick to them? Because, there's always next year. I shall always decide not to decide unless, of course, I decide to change my mind. That sounds like a woman said that. Yeah, I said it. I'm a woman. I know. We change our mind typically, so don't get on my case. I shall always begin, start, initiate, take the first step, and or write the first word when I get around to it. And just remember, round to it. That's very important for today's show. I obey the law of inverse excuses, which demands that the greater the task to be done, the more insignificant the work that must be done prior to beginning the greater task. You're leaving town, and you got a whole bunch of stuff to get done, and you were supposed to leave at 5 o'clock, and you don't leave until 10, because 5 in the morning, you don't leave until 10 in the morning because you found 17 other things to do that had to get done before you left. They hadn't been done in 2 or 3 years, but you just now found the energy to do them because of some avoidance. We'll get into that too. I know that the work cycle is not plan, start, finish, but wait, plan. I will never put off until tomorrow what I can forget about forever. I know some of these are real corny and cheesy. I will become a member of the ancient order of two-headed turtles, the Procrastinator Society, if they ever get it organized. See, I did the but wait. We're going to talk about procrastination, but wait. No, I don't do that to procrastinate. But we are going to talk about procrastination and what is procrastination, Director. Go ahead and bring up that first one. And you see my little tuits. They're round tuits. Someone invented the round tuit. Have to have the round tuit, right? And let me just grab my notes. And we are ready to rock and roll today. Okay, so what is procrastination? We're going to start on the third slide. What is procrastination and what is not procrastination? Okay. Let me just bring my notes back up because I'm following along on my PowerPoint while my director does his. Okay, so the introduction. The definition of procrastination is the act of delaying or postponing tasks or actions that need to be accomplished, often to the point of causing stress, anxiety, resistance, avoidance, and having a negative impact on one's quality of life. The importance of understanding procrastination. This can lead to missed opportunities, increased stress, anxiety, and decreased productivity. Procrastination is an interesting, thing. It's not a condition. It's not a mental disorder. It's a training. It's a behavior training of sorts, if you will. So when you are in this behavior training through your years of growing up. We're going to go to the next slide for procrastination is a response to triggers. And a trigger, first of all, the concept of a trigger is a stimulus that prompts a behavior, the response to a behavior. So somebody's triggered in the morning if they smoke cigarettes, they drink coffee, cigarettes. So when I help somebody quit smoking, I help reduce that trigger by eliminating both of those at the same time. So the same thing can go with procrastination. You've created a habit of conditioning response, just like Pavlov, the scientist. He did that conditioning response thing where he had the dogs lap up something, and if they got buzzed or something like that, they'd stay away from it, and eventually they wouldn't go near it. I don't know, something like that. You'd have to look it up. But Pavlov's conditioning response. We condition and respond to our own selves. Okay, and so when we have this trigger, the concept behind triggering, there are many things that can cause triggers. Going to trigger concept slide, please. Deadlines cause triggers. Fear of failure can cause a trigger. Lack of interest can cause a trigger. Lack of motivation, anxiety, and being overwhelmed. You have a project that's just so big you just don't even know where to tackle it. It's like, how do you eat an elephant? Well, in the world of non-procrastinators, you just eat it one bite at a time. It's a metaphor. I'm not really eating an elephant, some of you. But the role of emotions in procrastination, that would be the next slide. Oh, stimulus that prompts a behavior. Yeah, I'm getting ahead of myself, people. I'm sorry. The trigger, the stimulus that prompts the behavior, the deadlines, the failures, etc. So let's talk about the emotions of a procrastinator. That's where we're going next. Sorry, I got ahead of my slides. I didn't coordinate them well enough on my notes. So, I'm a work in progress too. Okay, so emotions in procrastination, the role that they have. So emotions can trigger the procrastination. So negative emotions, such as the fear and the anxiety and being overwhelmed, that can lead to procrastination. And these are fears that just kind of stay with you. If you have fears of getting stuff done, why? Some people procrastinate not out of procrastination so much out of laziness, and there is a difference. But think about it. You've got somebody who maybe isn't a really good housekeeper, right? And every once in a while they either hire somebody or they go through and they immaculate their house and they love what it looks like. It's like so amazing. It's because now they're getting a dopamine hit. They can have that dopamine hit every single day, but they choose to do it every 2 or 3 months instead. I say this from experience because before I learned how to keep house, I did that. I would negotiate with myself. Okay, do I do it today or should I wait till this afternoon? And, anyway, the only thing that really ever gets done on time, and that's just washing my clothes and drying them. I don't even fold and put them away half the time. So, yeah, I'm preaching to the choir here, people. Okay, so other things such as fear, anxiety, being overwhelmed, and procrastination, tackling your projects. And then how do you do that? Well, I'm going to go into that in part 2 a lot. But before I get there, and I'm going to repeat this in part 2, but just so you know, the best thing you can do right now is write down 10, even 20 projects that you need to complete. Just write them all down. And now what do you do with that list? Pick one. They don't have to be in any certain order. You may even want to just pick the easiest one. Some people might like to do the hardest one first, and then all the other ones are just super easy. Or do all the easy ones first and see how easy it is. And there's other methods that you can use to help you track how to get through the project you need to do and change the habit. And we'll get into a habit system later. The impact of these negative emotions on procrastination can alter your life. Okay, so let's go into being aware of your inner workings of the subconscious mind. Before we go into the environment, your subconscious mind is key here. So in your subconscious mind are things called knowns. Things the subconscious mind knows. We are pulled towards things that bring us enjoyment. We are pulled towards things that bring us happiness. We actually pull away from things that are negative or that don't bring us happiness. We pull away from things that we don't know. So your mind is always looking for things that's going to hurt it, and then it comes up with things that are going to help it. We're trying to consciously look for everything that might help us. Subconscious mind's being contradictory and doing its job and trying to protect us. In that, so we have these things called knowns, these message units or associations in the subconscious mind, and they're there. And anytime there's a threat to that, it defends it. And it brings us back. So we're trying to change a habit. Let's say you're just trying to make your bed every day. And all you had to do is just throw the covers over the pillow, right? And that's all you have to do. You never think about making your bed, but when you make it every day, you start thinking about it. Consciously now you're making it, you're thinking about, wow, I made my bed. Just make your bed. Just throw the comforter over the pillows. You will get a dopamine hit. And then do it again. Do it 5 days in a row. See that dopamine hit. Do it 3 months from now, every day. Don't miss a day for any reason. Make your bed. What if you're sick? Well, make at least half of it. And if you get out, make it and then get back in it. I don't care. But just make that effort. Just one little simple, throw the blanket over and put the pillows on. It's so easy, so simple. Unless there's somebody in the bed, then you have to wait till they get out or, they have to make the bed. But that one little tiny task can change your emotional state from that known. Now you're thinking about it. Now let's go to the other side. Let's take somebody who always makes their bed. They can't even function without making their bed, period. They make their bed. But the day they don't make their bed, they're thinking about it all day long. Like you who made their bed, you're thinking about it all day long. But if you're not making your bed, it's like, whatever. I mean, I did not make my bed this morning. Oh, I met my microphone. I did not make my bed this morning because we ran out the door to get to the studio. But I'll probably throw the blanket over it later on today when I get back at some point. But I should have, and I didn't. And I'm confessing that right here on, in front of millions of viewers right here. But it's one little tiny thing. What's going to make you feel good? Because that's within the subconscious mind. Don't make your bed. What are you doing? We don't make our bed. What? That's why you're thinking about it all the time. And then if you do make your bed, it's what's in your subconscious mind. It's what draws you to pleasure. It brings emotional pleasure to the subconscious mind. Oh yeah, we make our bed. Why didn't you make your bed? We always make our bed. So it works exactly the same depending on how your habits are. So being aware of what the subconscious mind do, you can go to episode 1 of this series and you can learn about the subconscious mind in more detail. Okay, next, our environment. Your environment can trigger your procrastination. The environment can influence behaviors. Environments are triggers. They, for example, if you have a disorganized workspace, it can make it difficult to focus and complete tasks. We have a catch-all at our house, and sometimes it's just piled with just, our books or maybe some appliance or whatever. And it's a chore sometimes, like we get too much going on, and then what do we do, right? So it can make it difficult to focus and complete these tasks. There's a loop. It's a loop in our mind, and it's created. And we can't work because we're disorganized, and we're disorganized because we can't work. And there's this space, and it's all a mess. Now, I keep a neat desk when I'm not there predominantly. But when I'm working, you can't find the desk. But that's just my process is. And even, although no one's going to come in and see my desk, everything's like neatly stacked. I mean, rarely do I leave my desk at work or at my office with a mess. It's not very often. Usually I'm in a hurry or I'm overly tired or something. I got to get out of there. I've been there for 15 hours. It's time to leave. And I'll be right back again, in 7 hours or whatever. So, but my desk, predominantly you can see the desk kind of thing. And then my laptop sits on top of it. So I want to be able to walk in, put my laptop down and start working. And I've got I've got things that help me stay organized, little file folder organizers and stuff like that. But this isn't a lecture about that, although I can probably get into it. But creating that time management, okay, we're going to get into some time management, but taking the time to organize things takes time away from the work, and then it turns into a vicious cycle, because then you're like, well, I have all this work to do at my home. I've got my laundry, and I've got to mop my floors and wash my walls or bathroom or whatever, but then I have all this work at work, and I got to get this done, so nothing gets done. And I'm saying this, and now, like I said, I'm preaching to the choir, because I have 4 offices in my office, and I rent out a couple. And one of them is my therapy room. I'm sorry, it's where the magic happens. And then the other room, it's like the beginning of the show, I do this whole little thing where you can see my therapy room. That's what my therapy room looks like, although I've reversed it since. But I have one room that needs to be completed, and it's not. It's still got boxes from when I moved into that office. Paperwork, stuff that needs to get filed, etc. And I haven't done it yet. I've done some of it, but why am I procrastinating? For that very reason. If I do this and I can't be doing that at home, and I need to be taking care of stuff at home. And if I'm at home doing this and I can't be at work, so I just don't do anything. And those 2 aspects, certain things at home and stuff like that. So it's a toying with your mind. It's just not do it at all. Do everything else but kind of thing. So find a way, find a system, find a friend who loves to help organize. There's lots of ways that we can work on that. But you want to be able to, if it's just an office space or whatever it is, or hire. There are people out there that actually they love to organize people. They love it when they can go in with their bins. And I heard one gal on a reel say, you got the throwaway, the giveaway, the keep, and the relocate bin, just one area. So when I would be overwhelmed and I'm raising my 3 children and my house would be kind of out of array, how do I get it back into, order? I just started I would stand in a corner, and since the corner would go out, I would just stand in this corner, and I would step forward in this direction 2 steps. Do I need to take care of anything? Little pieces at a time. Little pieces at a time, little pieces, and then it would get done. The other thing I learned is, it's kind of an interesting saying, you cannot clean what does not get dirty. I know, you cannot clean what does not get dirty. So in your environment, if things get cluttered or whatever, your best bet, one thing I can suggest would be, a friend of mine taught me this. She keeps a bottle of Windex and a roll of paper towels in every room in her home. Her home is always immaculate, right? She doesn't like to clean, so she just always keeps it clean. So, and it is. And she doesn't leave a room without doing something in that room to organize it straight. And even if it's like in her library, if it's just a book out of order, she'll push it back. She did something, move these books from this table onto she has a beautiful library with all these books, and she has one of those library carts. So it went from the table to the library cart. She did something. If you're in the bathroom, she has the Windex, and she just squirts one little paper towel, 2 squirts, does a little portion of the counter. She's done. That's all she wants. That's it. That's all you do. It's one little thing, and what you're doing is not necessarily cleaning in that moment, but you're trying to just creating a habit system. So you're putting things together. You got the bottle of Windex, which can clean almost anything, and you got the roll of paper towels. It's super easy. Before you leave the room, you do something in it. You just do. And even if you don't use the paper towels, just use the Windex. Just use the paper towels. Just take a paper towel and just wipe the top of the door off. When was the last time we did that one, huh? Ooh, yeah, it gets really ugly up there. The impact on your environment on procrastination. Your conducive environment can promote productivity and prevent procrastination. And real quick in closing, procrastination is something that plagues us. It's something that everybody procrastinates to some degree, somehow, some way. There's a job you got to get done. You like the charge. You like the dopamine hit. You like the idea of it, that last minute, the pressure of the deadline. And the pressure of the deadline can be fun for the moment, but have you done quality work in that? Did you do your best? Or did you do your best in the time that you gave yourself? What if there was a 3-week project that you had to do, and you waited until 2 days before? And I'm guilty of this. I've had seminars where I have to get these notebooks together, and my boyfriend and I have stayed up until midnight, sometimes I think even later, getting these notebooks ready, because I want everybody that comes in to have it, and I didn't want to do it in the morning. And why did I wait so long? Yeah, it's a good question. I could go back and make a lot of excuses or reasons, but I'm doing better because now I have a bunch of these notebooks ready or almost ready to go for that one particular seminar. And then I do a lot of them online, so I just have my PowerPoint. That does make it a lot easier if you have presentations you have to do, and you can do them in a PowerPoint. It's just a PowerPoint. That's like I started going to PowerPoints on this show just because it keeps me a little organized and keeps me going. Anyway, that wraps up procrastination, part 1 of this segment. And I'm going to my last slide here just to kind of recap a little bit. Next time, please return for part 2. I will discuss how it's not a condition that we suffer from. I'll also go over some of the details of how hypnotherapy and hypnosis can actually benefit the procrastinator. If you would like assistance with your procrastination before part 2, by all means, give me a call, shout out. Contact me, send a carrier pigeon, however you want to contact me. My name and number is on every slide over here in the corner. So by all means, just go to that name and go to the number, go to the website and contact me through there. There's my email right there on the screen. I'm at centralvalleyhypnotherapy.com. I am a certified hypnotherapist, and I do work with people, including myself, and helping combat certain limiting beliefs that I even still have, that I'm I work through all the time, even last night, sitting there writing some things down. So when I make an intention, what is my intention and why do you have any doubt behind that? And I can go over that again in part 2. Anyway, thank you so much for joining. I know it was a lot of information really fast, but don't worry, part 2 is even more information, and we're going to have a lot of fun with that. Take care, everyone, and I'll see you next time. Have a wonderful day.